Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2021 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring Reserve. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Southtown Mazda for providing us with the CX-5. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the CX-5, we have a turbocharged 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 27 on the highway, with power outputs being 227 horsepower and then 310 pound-feet of torque. Over the front end of the CX-5. So first and foremost, you guys know that I always love just the hood design on Mazda because they make it come down to like really sharp lines, so it makes it look really aggressive from the front end. Coming to the LED accent lights, I love the look of these too. So they go off to the side just a little bit. It actually looks like an eyeball. Of course it pops off, but they've got the projector bulbs as well. But I just love how it looks like an eyeball, almost with like mascara basically. It's just really cool accenting, and they have the chrome all along the front. And then yes, the Mazda logo does double as a sensor. Got little tiny fog lights there at the bottom. They're kind of cute, right? But other than that, there's the whole front end on the CX-5. Coming around the side here, we've got 225mm tires on 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then in terms of the design on the wheels, I really like it. It's just kind of like a star basically, which is really cool. And then it might look like chrome on camera, but it's actually like this metallic gray. It's a very cool looking color. You got the plastic molding that starts at the front, continues all along the entire side of the vehicle. So if you ever take it off-roading, that's a lot easier to replace than painted parts. The mirrors match with the rest of the body color, and there is your side view on the CX-5. Coming into the rear of the CX-5, notice that we actually have all the floor mats back here, but coming under here, this is where the spare tire is, and you can see the storage space is actually pretty ample. And if you're wondering what these are for, that's what it's for, is to lower down the seat. But yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy. What is this? Huh, secret compartment. Interesting. And there's another one on the other side. Interesting. Let's go over the rear of the CX-5. So overall, it's kind of got that like rounded off design. It's signature Mazda design they've done for a really long time. But you've got the more updated taillights, so they're full LEDs, which is pretty cool. They have like a really distinct look when they're on at night. And then you got all of your regular badging back here. You've got the dual exhaust tips on both sides, and other than that, the back is pretty simple. Now coming to the side here, you can see we've got stitching all across, and then down below as well with all of the soft touch. And you got this really nice trim up here that kind of goes like right in, and you can imagine it goes under and the door handle starts. But coming to the seats themselves, full black. Again, they've got that same stitching here on the seats, and they got the perforations here in the center, just kind of like riveted with the design. And let's actually pop in. So stepping height is not bad by any means. I've got a good amount of headroom, and in terms of legroom, I mean, I fit back here pretty comfortably. And then you guys can see you've got the vents here in the rear, and then pulling this down right here, you can see that it's some cup holders, but more importantly, you got your heated seat controls here in the back, and then opening up the center console part of it, you've got a couple of USBs, and that's all for the rear. Taking a look at the door panel here in the front, you get that same stitching that goes throughout with the same little trim here, and the soft touch are going to rest your arm. All of your window controls, mirror controls, all that kind of stuff in the normal area with the piano black trim. And then coming to the seats at the front, you've got the same design with the back seats with kind of like the rivets on the perforations and the stitching all throughout, just a little bit bigger with the bolsters on the seats. And then you guys notice that you've got the adjustments for the seat and then the memory seat controls. There's what the pedals look like, and then you can see you've got like the hood release, the gas cap, and then over here you can see you've got stuff for the lane departure assistance, that's for the hatch, and then your hill climb assist, which is all pretty cool. But other than that, there's one more look before we pop in. Now here is the steering wheel in the CX-5. So notice you get this smooth leather all around the steering wheel, and then they did black stitching here on the center part of the steering wheel just to make it all match. And then zooming in, you can see you've got your controls for the adaptive cruise control system. There are paddles on the back if you do want to shift the gears yourself. And then you got your controls for the center stack, your volume controls, voice command, phone controls, all of that. But that is the whole steering wheel part of it. And then you got the little light stock right there, and then you got the stock for the windshield wipers on the other side. Now here is the center stack So RPM's over on the left side. In the middle, you've got the speed. And then you guys can see that little screen there in the center, which shows you stuff like when your next servicing is due and your fuel range and all that kind of stuff. But notice you can make it be like a full speedo. I love how it goes from a screen to like, boom, giant needle. Now here is the center infotainment system. First off, popping it into reverse, there's the backup camera. Now the trajectory lines do not turn with the steering wheel, but the resolution on it's really solid. In terms of the rest of the infotainment system, it is not a touchscreen, so it's all controlled via this little dial right here. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty easy to use going into everything. I mean, it's just one touch, boom, goes right into it. It's got a bunch of shortcut buttons, which I'll show you guys in just a little bit. But overall, it's a pretty easy to use infotainment system. And other than the fact that it's not a touchscreen, it's solid. Coming down below, you guys can see you've got the stitching all across on the dash. Got a couple of vents right here. You got a little stop start button below all of that. You have heated steering wheel control. This does have heated seats and ventilated seats, and then dual zone here for the front. And then you guys notice that you get this little storage area up front, which also gives you a little 12 volts. So you can charge a device. Here is the shifter for the 6-speed automatic. You can shift the gears yourself if you would like. And then you do have a sport mode. Pretty simple. You just push it up and it'll say sport, push it down, and sport's off. So nothing too crazy happening with that. And then here is the controls for the infotainment system. So pretty straightforward. You got a little volume knob, and this is the dial to go through the different menus. And then you got shortcuts like your home screen, your navigation, your music, your back button, and your favorite button. And then here is the little control for the electronic parking brake, your auto hold as well. Now this whole area, you can see you've got a couple of cup holders, and then we have the full center console, which has that same stitching that's on the seats. You can see seat stitching, center console stitching, all the same. But opening it up, you can see storage space in here is pretty good. You do get a full 12 volt and some USBs that go through, and then you get a little storage tray there on the top as well. And then coming over here, you can see you've got the really nice trim here just up above the glove box, and then the stitching again, like I said earlier. There's a glove box all lined with felt, and that's all. Top here, we've got a regular little sunglass holder, and then yes, we do have a sunroof here at the top. If you're wondering, the control for the sunroof is just right there, and then we've got a regular mirror here, and it's a lighter colored headliner. Now that we're done going over the interior on the CX-5, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this CX-5 stickers for about $36,000, almost $37,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take this CX-5 out and see how she drives. We talked about visibility before we set off in the CX-5, and of course I always try to start talking when the seatbelt warning comes on. I'm not driving, okay, car? I don't... Nah. Anyways, you guys can see over the hood, visibility is pretty good, and then notice you got the little heads-up display. Hopefully that's popping through onto the camera. And then there's a visibility through both of the mirrors, and then here's a visibility throughout the rear. So obviously they go for that like sporty slope design, and you can see that there's a little bit of a blind spot in that area, but it's not bad by any means, and at least they give you that little tiny window. And that all being said, let's set off. Well, we are initially setting off here in the 2021 CX-5. And first and foremost, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So from a ride quality perspective, I actually just drove the CX-9, and I can actually perceive a difference. So this feels like it's a little bit rougher, not quite as smooth and composed as the CX-9. But for SUVs in this segment, I'm gonna put this as average for the ride quality. It's not any worse or any better than other SUVs in this segment. And then in terms of the noise, it's really windy today. Don't hear any wind noise, and there's very minimal tire noise. So I would put this slightly above average in terms of the insulation from the noise on that part of things. And then we'll get our little minor acceleration here. So this is just our partial throttle. Does a really good job just getting up like that, but we're gonna pop it into sport mode and into the manual mode as well for our full acceleration coming up here. Those downshifts are actually pretty good to start off with. Ooh, got a little angry at me. Just kidding. But get our full-blown acceleration, see how it goes. Wow, that is quick. That is really quick. Oh my goodness. Can barely shift fast enough. But yeah, you guys, I mean, I think my reaction just said everything. Definitely quick with the acceleration with this turbocharged engine. Definitely feels turbocharged, like you get that turbo drama where it's like nobody's home and then wha-bam, right in your face. Just pretty cool. Downshifts are pretty good. Upshifts are pretty good as well. It's not the quickest transmission, but it's definitely smooth. And that'll actually lead me into summing things up with the CX-5. So from the exterior styling, I love the styling on the CX-5. I feel like the proportions with the vehicle are just absolutely fantastic. It's a very beautiful SUV, and I would not be frustrated if someone accidentally thought this was a luxury SUV, even from like the exterior styling perspective, because it just has such beautiful body lines and it just has like a really upscale look, especially with the LED lights and everything. And then coming to the interior, everything is pretty nice here on the interior, especially from a design standpoint. Mazda always nails it with their interior design. The one thing I would say is like the new Mazda 3 has really shown what Mazda can do with interior materials. I wish they'd bring some of those materials into the CX-5 because everything's very nicely put together. It just, on like the dash and everything, it's not necessarily the nicest material. It's cool to have the stitching and everything, but I think they should take some advice from their other model, aka the Mazda 3, put some of those materials in here and it'd look really solid and everything would just fit together a little bit better. And then the performance, you guys saw that, solid. So as an overall package, I feel like the CX-5 is just a really good SUV. I feel like it's a really good value. And I know that it might sound like I'm critiquing it with the interior, but you guys gotta understand, this is like such a good value. You're basically getting luxury car performance now and luxury car interior, but you're not paying the luxury car premium. And so with that all being said, I would definitely check out a CX-5. That is going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring Reserve. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Southtown Mazda for providing us with the CX-5. Check out their inventory in the link below. I will see all of you in that next video.